Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? I'm Andrea, and I am an alcoholic. Just a little bit of AA there for you. You have to excuse my style. I'm used to speaking in front of a bunch of alcoholics in dark church basements. They're actually not that dark. They're pretty good. So I guess I'll just tell you a little bit about myself and my journey. I grew up in an alcoholic family, as most alcoholics and addicts do. And our family was a little dysfunctional because my father was an alcoholic and there was lots of fighting. When he passed away when I was about 9, I was 9, that changed everything for me. He was actually drinking and driving with his best friend, and they both died. And that was a really pivotal time of my life. I wasn't sure how to express myself, even though I had a very loving family. But I didn't know how to express myself. The emotions were way too big for me. So the first thing that I could turn to as a 9-year-old to self-numb was food. So I turned to food. And when I discovered other substances, like nicotine, marijuana, alcohol, when I was about 12, 13, it just kind of progressed from there. I was a pretty good student. I was involved in sports. I always kind of had a smile on my face, and I always had lots of friends. But deep down inside, I had this feeling that I was a horrible person. That, just like kind of like self-hatred. And I don't know where that comes from. I don't know how. It's mental illness. It's genetic. I come from both sides of my family are alcoholics and addicts. So I thought that I had escaped. I thought, oh, I'm fine. You know, I'm a fun drinker. I'm a recreational drug user. People like to have me around at parties. But it just got progressively worse and worse. And, you know, I'd end up in the hospital. I would lose jobs. I went to university for years and years and years and couldn't finish my undergrad. I went to nursing school. I would have breakdown after breakdown. My drinking just progressed and progressed, and I can drink anyone under the table. So I guess it came to a point in my life that it wasn't working anymore. The alcohol wasn't giving me the same effects as it gave me before, where it gave me lots of courage, and I thought it made me to be such a fun, exciting, great person. And when I went to a friend's wedding and fell down the stairs and fell into the ocean and almost broke my leg, that was when I was like, I need to get some help. So fortunately for me, I knew where to get help. I've been working in addictions for almost 10 years. I've been sober for 3. I worked at a treatment center with Island Health, and I knew where to go because I grew up with AA. I grew up with Al-Anon. My mother was in Al-Anon for many years. I grew up with 12 steps, so I knew like how to get the help. And I called an old friend of mine. She took me to my first meeting, and it was probably the most terrifying, excuse me, one of the most terrifying experiences ever, because I thought, oh my God, everyone's going to know I'm an alcoholic. I'm in an AA room. Everyone there is an alcoholic. But the thing was, is that I was so full of shame and so full of guilt because I had been working in addictions and eating disorders for almost 10 years and helping other people, where I was living a lie and thinking that I had everything kind of worked out. So there was a lot of shame there, and I was really scared of seeing people, of clients and patients that I knew in the rooms. So like I said before, I had a loving family, very loving family, minimal trauma, very good support system with friends, I was very, very lucky. I had a good doctor. I had a good GP. So when I came clean to him and told him what had been going on, because I was very good at hiding it, except for my major, major depression. But I was good at hiding my alcoholism and my recreational drug use. So when I did go to him, he was very supportive. And can you pass us some water, actually? Thanks. Thank you so much. Oh, sure, yeah. Yeah, I needed some time off work. I needed to get my life back, and I needed to get into therapy. So my doctor was actually quite supportive with that. And what was really important to me is at first that he supported me, but he also listened to me, and he didn't throw medications at me. So that was really nice. He offered places where I can get therapy. I think he actually said something about AA, and it was really great. I'm like, well, I'm already going, but thank you. That's awesome that he knew about it. And that's where my journey started, and I went off work. And I started going to meetings every day. I went to therapy, and I exercised and ate well. So all of those things together, I think, make a wonderful recovery plan. What else am I going to talk about? Lots of stuff. When I went off work, too, the occupational health and safety came involved as well. And they sent me to Vancouver to see an addiction specialist. They didn't know if they wanted to send me to treatment or not. But at that point, and I bounced this off some friends and some other professionals that I do know, and at that point, I didn't really feel that treatment would have to be part of my recovery at that point. I had a very good support system, a good therapist, Alcoholics Anonymous, which I think I'm still sober today, so something has been working. So treatment isn't the part of everyone's story. And then from then, I'm not going to talk too much about AA because it doesn't, everyone has their own journey, and there's lots of other programs out there like Life Ring and Smart Recovery, non-12-step programs, and some people just need counselors. But for AA, it really helped me out because first of all, it's free. There are so many meetings a day in the city. We're very lucky to have many, many meetings. I had a sponsor, which is somebody who had a lot more sobriety than me that could go through the steps with me and really kind of tear me down and then bring me back up. And with those steps, I believe that it helps people become accountable. It helps people forgive themselves and forgive others. It helps people find a spiritual base, which I think a lot of people are very uncomfortable talking about spirituality. But for my experience in my job and the experience of knowing lots of alcoholics, addicts, is that spirituality is a huge, huge part of recovery. And I'm not talking about God or Buddha or Muhammad. It could be anything. It could be, like for me, it's kind of nature. But to actually have to hand something else over to somebody else to kind of take charge so you're not in charge anymore, I think that takes a lot of weight off the person, that they're not kind of responsible for everything that's kind of going on. So that is my experience. Let's see what else I was going to talk about here. Yeah, I think I kind of talked about everything. The therapy that did help me with trauma was the EMDR with a great psychologist in town. And like I said before, I had therapy through work, through my union, and through occupational health. Oh, sorry, it's I always forget the acronym. eye movement deconsensitization. Thank you. Yeah. So what the process is someone goes through your trauma in a really kind of gentle way. They talk you through it while you listen to something that's very calming to you. So that really helped me, and it's actually been, there's lots of studies on that with to help with trauma, and that really helped me. Fortunately, I didn't have to go through the hospital system too much with my addiction, but the times when I did have to go through it, it was actually quite horrific. I ended up in the psych emerge a couple times, and because I had a suicide attempt, and that was about 8 years ago, and they wouldn't keep me, and all I wanted was just someone just to help me. It was just such a cry for help, and I couldn't get the help that I wanted. So there are definitely some things that we need to change with our health system, and I see it with my clients all the time as well. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. Yeah, sure.
What's helpful to you now in your recovery? What things keep you well?
What keeps me well right now in my recovery is really listening to my body. When I am tired, I need to sleep. I need to be active and exercise at least 5 times a week, sometimes every day, at least just go for a walk. I need to meditate. And meditation could be yoga for me. It could just be going for a walk. You know, like you don't have to be sitting on a cushion doing this. It can be anything. And then going to my meetings, which is kind of my medicine. That keeps me sober and healthy, and to have a really good support system. I can't talk enough about a positive support system. I don't know how anybody does it without a support system or a home. That would be very, very difficult. Yeah.
You didn't mention working with me.
Oh, and working with Bill has really, really kept me going.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was great.